A very warm welcome to you all at home. Welcome to yet another episode of Afroshowbiz News, the show that keeps you in the know about all things art and entertainment from around the African continent. Now, we trust that you all had a very happy Christmas. As always, we love hearing from you, so send us those emails at afroshowbiznews@sabc.co.za. Also follow us on Twitter. Our handle is @AfroShowbizNews. Now, this is our final 2014 show, and we'll look back at some of our favorite stories and interviews. A step towards the promotion of literature was taken from the first bilingual isiXhosa dictionary in almost 30 years. It was released by Oxford University Press, Southern Africa. isiXhosa is a language spoken in the Eastern Cape in South Africa. The bilingual dictionary will assist Xhosa-speaking children who are learning in English at school, as well as anyone who wants to learn the language. More than 35 experts in both languages contributed in the making of the dictionary. Chief Mandla Mandela shared his sentiments of the importance of preserving vernacular languages.
We see this as important so that we can teach the younger generation about our own languages, so that vernacular languages will not be forgotten.
The Oxford Bilingual School Dictionary is the first of its kind to have been made. Learner Musa Nojaduka said she has been waiting for this type of dictionary.
I feel very happy that it will help better my knowledge of the Xhosa language.
Steve Celius, MD of the Oxford University Press Southern Africa, was also one of those who were in attendance.
Bilingual dictionaries are essential when you work in an environment which is multilingual. For learners who speak isiXhosa as a home language, most of them will have to learn their core curriculum subjects in English. And at the same time, there are lots and lots of children who are going to be learning isiXhosa as a second language. And Oxford University Press is about supporting language.
At the launch, 600 copies of the dictionary were donated to the Nelson Mandela Institute for Education and Rural Development. This is an Eastern Cape-based NGO working with rural communities to create rich classrooms that promote literacy. The photo exhibition styled The Rise and Fall of Apartheid, which examines the legacy of apartheid system, took place in Museum Africa in Johannesburg.
After acclaimed runs in Munich, Milan and New York, Rise and Fall of Apartheid, Photography and the Bureaucracy of Everyday Life opens in Johannesburg at Museum Africa. It features the work of more than 70 South African photographers and artists, including over 800 images, 27 films and a book. The exhibition is a field of narratives about diverse photographic practice, from colonial ethnographic studies to image making during apartheid, with some reflection on contemporary post-apartheid views. The theme addressed by the exhibition will focus on select historic milestones during the liberation struggle and apartheid oppression and the difficulties we confront of our history's visual landscape.
The solo exhibition titled Nomalungelo, Threat to Freedom, took place at Constitution Hill, Johannesburg. The exhibition paid homage to three influential divas, Miriam Makeba, Dorothy Masuku and Brenda Fassie, in commemoration of 20 years of democracy.
Amita Makan reuses her mother's old silk sari in her new exhibition. She titles it Nomalungelo, Threats to Freedom. The artist has embroidered threads and fragments of these garments into a series of 8 delicate portraits that trace the legacies of Miriam Makeba, Dorothy Masuku and Brenda Fassie. Through her process, Makan gives a renewed life to these three queens of international music. She traces their remarkable contribution to igniting the flames of South African freedom.
The exhibition is about my mother, who had Alzheimer's for 12 years. She passed away in September 2009. I was grief-stricken. And soon after, I started reading Miriam Makeba's biography. It inspired me to start creating again. The series blossomed into a celebration of South African icons, namely Dorothy Masuku, Miriam Makeba and Brenda Fassie.
Her celebration of freedom through art then ends up paying homage to all those who used music to fight for the country's liberty.
Backup singers play a huge role in the lives of established musicians in the country. However, little recognition is given to these musicians. Now, to change all of this, the launch of the BVSM, or Backing Vocals and Session Musician Awards, dedicated to giving them recognition, will take place on the 22nd of this month in Pretoria. Now, to tell us more about these awards, we are joined in studio by someone who has played a huge role in the music development of the music industry in South Africa, Umam Yvonne Chaka Chaka. Hello and welcome to Afroshowbiz News, Ma.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. Now, Ma, you will be launching the Backup Vocal Session and Music Awards on Wednesday. Tell us why you decided to embark on such a project.
You know, I've been in the music industry for 29 years, and I've seen the power that the session musicians and the backing vocals have got. You know, you look at Johnny Clegg, Rebecca Malope, Brenda Fassie, and you look at these musicians who do the backing for us, even the ones who play the instruments, and nobody has ever thanked them. Nobody has ever recognized the power that they have. I've seen some artists, frontline artists, who would go on stage and maybe all of a sudden the voice goes, and who takes over? It's these BVs, you know. And the session musicians, you want a particular sound on your record. Who do you get? Abo Butemp, Abo Victor Masond, Abo Godfrey Mcina. So these are the people who play a very, very vital role in making us. They are the ones who make the stars.
All right, now, Mama, you have been in the music industry for a number of decades. How have maybe backup singers and session musicians helped shape your music career?
I must say that my very, very first show that I did, I had a drummer, Vusi Khumalo. I was so scared being on stage, and Vusi Khumalo was the one who sort of urged me, Ujo's Dlatu. You know, they shaped me, they made me who I am, and I look back now, 29 years later, I think these are the guys who made me what I am. They encouraged me, because they had been in the music industry before me, but they encouraged me, they shaped me, they made me what I am, and that's why I decided I want to honor them. I want them to know that we recognize them, we appreciate them, but these awards are going to be different, because I want to take these artists and they should go out and do outreach programs to say to other people out there, you can be at the back and still have longevity in the industry and still work and make money. Not everybody can be a Lyra or Yvonne or a Brenda Fassie. You can be at the back and still have so much to give to the world.
All right, now, Mama, perhaps maybe take us through what criteria you'll be using when selecting the winners of these awards.
The ones that we're doing at the State Theatre on the 22nd is just a launch. We're trying to get sponsorship. We're trying to tell people about the awards. So it's just the launch. But we're having these very session musicians performing for us. And the next year, 2015, we're going to honor the musicians who've been around for a long time. Abo Sis Mandisa, Abo Sis Beulah, Abo Nolene. There's just so many of them, you know. We're going to nominate them and award them, and I would like to see the award going with some money, because, you know, the record sells and they've got no recourse, they're not getting anything. And then in 2016 they are going to be nominated by the record companies, by their peers, and by the public. So it's all the genres. It will be a best backing singer, best bass bass session musician, or Congo drums, or all the instruments. So though the awards where people are going to be nominated, it's going to be in 2016. But in 2015, we are going to say to those who have been there for a long time, here, we recognize you, and they will be just given the awards.
Is it perhaps maybe musicians from around here, or are you looking at the whole country as a whole?
Well, it's the whole country. It's the whole of South Africa. As a matter of fact, it's going to be in Africa as well, even in America, in New York and in London. I've just come back from the United Nations, and this has never been done, even in America. So I've actually trademarked the BVSM Awards worldwide.
All right, Mama, now what do you think has been maybe some of the challenges when putting together this? What has been maybe some of the challenges that you had?
It actually took me 10 years to be where I am today. I've gone to different people, I've knocked in different doors. I've had people saying to me there's no significance in awarding backing vocals and session musicians, and that really made me very, very upset. And I've decided to take my own money and do this. I'm grateful to the SABC because they've seen the significance. Sambro have seen that, the Tshwane mayor as well, and some company called They Make Crystals. So these are the people who've come and said, we will help you, but half of the money comes from my pocket, and I don't regret it.
All right, well, Mama, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. I wish we could talk a bit more, but time is up. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. That was Yvonne Chaka Chaka talking to us about the upcoming launch of the Backing Vocals and Session Music Awards. Please note that interview took place earlier this year as we are doing our 2014 highlights. Now it's time for a break, but do stay tuned.
Icons is a unique visual journey of some of South Africa's greatest citizens.
When I wake up in the morning, I've got a challenge.
You succeeded in getting me to do something which is absolutely against my nature.
If I do something, I do something properly.
In celebration to 20 years of democracy, the newly released book 21 Icons offers exclusive access to a remarkable spread of South African legends.
It tells their personal stories and unique portraits that reflect our country and, above all, its people.
That's Kaleidoscope, Sundays, 5:30 p.m. on SABC News.
The Artscape Theatre in Cape Town had earlier this year given an opportunity to choreographers across the country to showcase their dance moves.
The festival aims to afford emerging and established dance companies as well as choreographers with the opportunity to present their dance skills. This year, the festival will showcase dynamic and diverse local and international dance. The 10th Dance Festival is not only a celebration of dance, but an opportunity to take a look at how dance has shaped the lives of dancers. The festival has continued to grow since its inception in 2004. Over 450 local choreographers have presented their work since the festival began. Over 3,000 dancers from more than 400 dance studios, dance schools, projects and professional companies from the Western Cape have been featured. The dance styles vary from contemporary, classic, African, modern and Spanish dance. Some 69 dance productions will be presented over 10 days by companies from across the Western Cape, plus one from the Northern Cape. This is up from the 45 seen last year.
Today we are joined from our Cape Town studios by South Africa's renowned fashion designer, David Tlale. Tlale has showcased most of his clothing collections in South Africa's fashion weeks and internationally. The most recent one was when he was at the New York Fashion Week and had his first solo runway collection last month. This weekend, David will also be showcasing his fashion collection at the Designer Indaba Expo in Cape Town. Hello, David, and welcome to Afroshowbiz News.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Now, David, you just came back from the New York Mercedes Fashion Week. Please tell us about your experience.
The experience in New York has been super amazing. First of all, I've showcased several times at New York Fashion Week, and for the past 3 seasons, it has been like an installation. Mm-hmm. And this time was our first runway showcasing. Mm-hmm. And I must say the process of preparing for a runway show is totally different, because in South Africa, mm-hmm. we have everything set for us. I would say we're kind of spoiled. Mm-hmm. But in New York, everything works totally different, whereby you work according to the availability of the models, mm-hmm. according to the availability of space and so many things. But the experience has been super amazing, because you get to realize it's not only about just showcasing. Mm-hmm. After showcasing the product, you have to get there and sell. You get to have a showroom. You get to meet the buyers and so many other things. But I'm saying our journey as David Tlale at New York Fashion mm-hmm. Week has just begun, because we're already starting to prepare for our spring-summer collection, right. which is in September.
All right. Now, David, as we mentioned, this was your first runway solo collection. Tell us, how has been the reaction from the public with regards about your designs, that is?
I mean, the reviews have been like phenomenal. First of all, I mean, the likes of Fan Mullis, who is a founder of Mercedes-Benz New York Fashion Week. I mean, she has been supporting me in New York since 2009. And after, it was really affirming that after the show, she comes backstage to say, this has been one of the best collections that you've ever done by far. It is starting to become like ready to wear, easily accessible. And I think you are going to do well. And that statement for me was like really affirming. And from the editors, I mean, different publications, we're getting like really amazing press reviews, and also with the buyers and also distributors, because that's the journey we are on. People are like saying, we have seen most of your work, and this collection currently is starting to really translate into, it could easily translate into sales.
Okay, now David, today you are currently showcasing your line at the Design Indaba Expo. What sort of work have you prepared for today?
For Design Indaba, I mean, it has been made possible by the Cape Town Fashion Council and CEDA. We have collaborated with Vlisco, which is a African fabric printing mill out in the Netherlands. And we have actually taken the journey of David Tlale over the past 10 years to say, who are we and where do we put ourselves? I mean, the focus this year, Design Indaba, is about Africa, and how best can one just like really showcase those pieces than just collaborating with Vlisco. We had like a really amazing time developing the collection because it's quite futuristic, very edgy, and also sort of like really thinking out of the box and making sure that people understand that South Africa or Africa is the future, and there is more to Africa than just the Big Five or just the Ndebele beads or the Zulu beads, because I believe our heritage in Africa is amazing, and we've got to start telling those amazing stories.
Now, David, are there currently any other African designers that you are working with at the moment?
I am currently, you know, I've started an internship program in Johannesburg, but our journey started out in KwaZulu-Natal, where I am interning young designers. I have like 2 designers that actually finished their first year internship program, which they were with me for the entire year of 2013, and I have new ones that have just started now. And in March this month, on the 21st at 3:30, we will be showcasing and launching these designers at African Fashion International Joburg Fashion Week, which is going to be like really amazing, because I believe as a brand, David Tlale, we've got to start imparting knowledge, because it's not about the glitz and the glamour. I'm about to say, I'm about transferring knowledge and making sure that young designers understand that whatever we do from concept to product has to translate into business and profit.
All right. Now, David, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Much appreciated. Thank you for having me.
That was David Tlale joining us from our SABC Cape Town studios. Sadly, the entertainment industry in South Africa this year lost a host of artistic talents. These were people who played an avid role in the grooming and preservation of art in the country. They included
Lulu Tikana, Tabang Sidloyi, Mushweshe Chabedi, Lisiho Mutsepe, Olife Lyon, Tembelihle Mbanjwa, Tabiso Sekhala, Eddie Zondi, and many others. May their souls rest in peace.
You are still watching Afroshowbiz News. Now, if you've missed any of our shows, be sure to catch them on our YouTube channel by simply searching for Afroshowbiz News. Time now for another ad break, but stay tuned.
We kick off this week's show by seeing how Kenyans are paying tribute to the victims
as well as not only how they've coped, but how they returned stronger after the attacks.
Last year, images of the 4-day Westgate Mall attack saturated front pages.
In the Democratic Republic of Congo, artists have assembled to celebrate the peace this war-torn country has not had in a long time.
No conflict that can't be solved without a conversation.
The Journal, every Saturday at 1:30 on SABC News.
Welcome back. The photo exhibition titled Politics of Bling, which examines the flashy lifestyles of young people in the East Rand townships of Johannesburg on the eve of South Africa's 20th year of democracy.
This is a photographic story that looks at the rise of the black middle class as South Africa approaches 20 years as a democracy. It focuses specifically on the lifestyle of young black people in areas that still experience vast underdevelopment and high rate of unemployment. It's a tale of high spending by extravagant youth who live it up despite rampant poverty. The show observes the idea of progress against a society that sees them as counter-progressive and wasteful. It is a story of fast cars, fashion, alcohol, girls and music.
I've been a photographer in the mainstream media for the past 10 years, and photography is the only way I could express feelings. Photography is the only way I could interpret and tell you what I see. It's my life, and yeah, I live photography.
If you talk about South African photography, then do you know Dr. Peter Makubane's name would be on top of the list. He was in Soweto on June 16, 1976, when school kids were killed by police for protesting for their liberty. He's won loads of awards from many countries around the world. Dr. Makubane's work is part of an exhibition called A Struggle Without Documentation is No Struggle. It is with huge excitement that I welcome him to Afroshowbiz News tonight. Hello, Doctor, and welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Now, Doctor, first and foremost, why did you call your exhibition A Struggle Without Documentation is No Struggle?
Excuse me. No, those youngsters didn't want pictures to be taken. Mm-hmm. And I said to them, the world will not know what you're doing or what's happening in South Africa, especially what's happening in Soweto. Mm-hmm. And then one in the middle of the crowd said, no, don't worry, I know him. Mm-hmm. Let him photograph. Then I said, no, this is not for me only. There are many photographers here. Mm-hmm. Don't trouble them. Just let them do their work, because at the end, you are winners. Mm-hmm. Because, as you know, a struggle without documentation is no struggle. Mm-hmm. We are here to document what is happening.
Now, Doctor, please take us through what sort of works are included in your exhibition.
Ooh, that is the first day in Soweto. Mm-hmm. Sharpeville. Mm-hmm. The what do you call this now? The
Now, Doctor, rather take us through what are sort of the memories you got from shooting these pictures?
Well, these children were determined in what they were doing. They were not divided, they were together. Whatever crowd you come across, it is the same crowd. They're fighting for the same thing. The police did the best they could, but it didn't work because these children were determined. Unlike the usual politicians who keep on saying Africa, Africa, these kids were determined.
Now, Doctor, how has the response been from audiences about the exhibition?
They were very excited, especially that it had pictures of the past, which they had never seen before. And I was elated to see how excited these people were, black and white. Yeah.
What are you hoping that audiences will leave with once they've seen your exhibition?
Well, they will understand that and respect the life they have today, because yesterday it was not the same. You walk in the streets, you've got to be sure that you have that piece of document called reference book, but then it was first called passbook, which was carried by black people only. Coloureds and Indians carried, what was it called? Coloured document. Yeah.
Now, Baba, we are in 20 years of democracy. What would you like to share with other upcoming artists around the country?
Well, what I would like to share with them, they should come to me, and I'll make them realize that, understand that photography is not writing. You have to deal with the object. You have to make people see or understand what you mean by the picture, what the picture means. Yeah.
Now, Doctor, you've had other exhibitions before, but what is different about this one?
Is that this one dates back from the 50s when I started photography. So it carries me up to 1986. Yeah.
All right. Well, Doctor, it was a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Now, this was our 2014 highlight show, and we hope you've enjoyed this episode of Afroshowbiz News. We'll meet again next year. And now today we'll be playing out with Big Naz featuring Karam Tetwa, Incwadi Yothando. Happy holidays and Happy New Year, and enjoy.
Oh